Oregon's Grant's Getaways. I'm your host, Grant McComey, and boy, do we have an adventure for you this week. We've traveled into a remote section of the state for some amazing scenery, some heart-pounding salmon fishing, and a spectacular river canyon adventure. So join us as we explore Rogue River country.
We're going to run up the river 10 or 12 miles. We have this beautiful overcast, no wind, nice soft morning. We're just going to get on a spot where they're going to come to us.
Denny Hewson knows the Rogue River Canyon like the backs of his rugged hands that steer safe passage through dangerous waters.
Well, you definitely want to be able to read water and be able to tell where the deep channels are and where the bedrock ledges are at. You can either run aground or rip a hole in the bottom of your boat if you hit the bedrock.
It's a place where rocks and rapids can eat you alive, but Hewson's been guiding here nearly 50 years, so his confidence runs as high as the steep-walled canyon.
Gorgeous.
Oregon history runs deep in the canyon, too. Hewson says the Rogue was a lifeline for a parade of trappers, miners, and settlers who showed up here starting in the 1840s. It's hard to imagine scratching out a living in such terrible terrain, but they did, and Hewson still does. As a fishing guide, first order of business, baits in the water. And then comes breakfast.
That's one thing we can count on is food.
Is this when you get the fish to bite?
Almost always, yeah. I've had the eggs go upside down on the floor more than one time.
That is perfect.
Fishing for trout, salmon, and steelhead has been popular Rogue River pastime for nearly a century, as soon as young men dared to row wooden boats down the Rogue's rapids. Names like Velty Pruitt and Prince Helfrich were among the first who showed the dudes how it was done. To catch big fish, camp out under the stars, and leave all your troubles behind. Like those who came before him, Hewson built his own wooden boat, and it's a dandy. He used cedar, mahogany, and ash. Added a touch of whimsy with Adirondack chairs because happy guests are comfortable guests. Rare craftsmanship. Hewson's the last Rogue River guide to run a wooden powerboat. He says the river's homespun heritage makes it all fit together.
I've been a wood boat person all my life. I built my first boat in high school wood shop. I did try aluminum power boats and I just wasn't happy. Went back to the wood. They're just softer, they're quieter, they're warmer. I think they fish better. That's just my theory.
The Rogue River Spring Chinook Run continues to draw anglers from across the country. We fish small anchovies with brass spinner blades and 2 ounces of lead that's placed 60 feet behind the boat. While the wild or native spring Chinook are protected, anglers are allowed to keep 2 hatchery salmon.
Historically, the spring Chinook fishery was the big fishery on the Rogue. They're real high quality fish. It's still kind of a trophy fishery because they come in the spring and they have to survive the summer in the Rogue River before they spawn next fall. They come in with real high fat reserves. They're real moist and real tasty when you cook one of those fish. Just about the best.
It's a big fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a really big fish.
Took off like that 41-pounder we hooked the other day.
No.
Yeah.
A big fish that may tangle with that far boat's anchor line.
Our strategy is what, Denny?
We'll just keep pulling on him.
This is a big fish. This fish is a monster fish. A spring salmon that's 30, all of 30.
It may be big, but it's also a native, a wild salmon that must stay in the river. We won't even net it.
Well, let's just break him off. Had to let him go anyhow.
Tuck,
Good job.
Well, yeah. Dubious distinction, but...
Distinct memories, too, of time well spent in a corner of Oregon where the rewards aren't always measured by the size of the catch, but by the time you spend on the river with friends.
It's nice to fish in a fishery where everybody's friendly and they get along together with each other. Yeah, everybody tries to help everybody out here.
The spring Chinook salmon fishery is just one of many reasons to consider making Rogue River Country part of your travel schedule. We've provided all the details and directions on the Travel Oregon website, and you'll also find detailed information about that spring Chinook salmon fishery through Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. We've given you that link as well. So until next week, get out here and consider making Rogue River Country part of your travel across Oregon. For Travel Oregon, I'm Grant McComey.